The moment the doors opened and that first wave of icy winter air hit my face, I knew this wasn't just another trip. This was something else, something completely different. Luxury winter travel had officially taken a massive leap, and I was about to experience it firsthand. As I stepped out onto the snow-covered runway, I could see the silhouettes of towering mountains glowing softly under the early morning light. A private car was already waiting, its windows warm and fogged from the inside. The driver greeted me with a quiet smile, handing me a cup of steaming hot cocoa. And that's when it struck me, if the welcome was this good, what on earth was the rest of the journey going to look like? The drive up the mountain felt unreal. Snowflakes drifted around us like slow-motion glitter, and the landscape kept shifting between dense forests, frozen lakes, and cliffs draped in pure white. Just when I thought it couldn't get more cinematic, the road curved, revealing the resort, my home for the next few days. A massive modern chalet made entirely of glass and wood, glowing with warm amber light that felt like a hug from far away. The architecture blended into the mountain like something out of a dream, and the best part? Everything around it was dead silent except for the soft crunch of snow under the tires. Inside, I was welcomed not at a reception desk, but by a personal concierge who already knew my name, my itinerary, and somehow even my favorite tea. A tray of winter snacks sat waiting: fresh pastries, warm honey, and a small bowl of berries picked from the nearby forest in autumn and frozen just for moments like this. I took a deep breath, and the scent of cedar, pine, and burning firewood instantly told me this place wasn't just offering luxury. It was redefining the entire meaning of the word. My suite felt like stepping into the future of winter travel. Floor-to-ceiling windows opened up to a panoramic view of mountains that looked hand-painted. A heated stone floor guided me through a living room lined with blankets softer than clouds. The fireplace automatically adjusted its warmth based on room temperature. Even the bathtub was placed right beside the glass wall, letting you soak in warm water while watching snow drift slowly outside. And the bed, let's just say it felt like sleeping inside a warm snowflake. After settling in, I was invited to try something the resort called their silent morning experience. I didn't really understand what it meant, but I followed a guide through a narrow forest trail as tiny snow particles floated in the air. And then, suddenly, we stopped. No talking, no movement, just silence. The world froze around us. It was the kind of silence that makes you feel like time isn't real, like you're standing inside a snow globe someone gently shook. I realized then that luxury wasn't always about gold, glamour, or extravagance. Sometimes luxury was peace, stillness. A moment where your mind finally stopped spinning. Later in the day, the energy shifted completely. The resort offered something they called winter sky cruising. Now, I had no idea what that meant until I arrived at a small platform on the edge of a cliff, where a glass-bottom gondola lifted into the sky. As the gondola rose, the world opened up beneath me, frozen rivers winding through valleys, deer walking between snow-covered trees, and sunlight bouncing off the mountains like shards of diamonds. At the highest point, the gondola stopped, suspended in the air, just hanging between sky and earth. A tray appeared from a hidden compartment with warm tea and biscuits. I couldn't help but laugh because it felt so surreal, luxury at thousands of feet above ground, floating over winter like some kind of movie scene. Dinner that night was another experience entirely. Instead of a traditional restaurant, the resort built small private glass domes across the mountain. Each was softly heated, decorated with candles, and surrounded by untouched snow. My dome overlooked a frozen waterfall that shimmered under soft blue lights. A private chef walked me through the menu, local dishes inspired by winter but elevated to a whole new level. Warm soups infused with rare herbs, melt-in-your-mouth fish caught from icy lakes, desserts shaped like snowflakes, and hot chocolate so rich it felt like velvet. But the real magic happened afterward. The chef dimmed the lights in the dome and the host gently pointed up. Slow, shimmering waves of green light danced across the sky, the northern lights. They moved like paintbrush strokes, shifting, swirling, blending with the clouds. Watching them from a glass dome, wrapped in a cashmere blanket with warm chocolate in hand, made me realize why this place claimed that luxury winter travel had hit a new level. It wasn't just about expensive things. It was about creating once-in-a-lifetime moments. The next morning, I joined an activity the resort described as elemental winter immersion. I wasn't sure what that meant, but went along anyway. What happened next will stay with me forever. A guide led me to a small lake covered in snow. But near one edge, the ice had been carefully cut into a perfect circle, revealing crystal clear water underneath. I immediately thought this was some form of extreme cold plunge, but before I could panic, he handed me a special insulated suit that allowed me to float in the freezing water without feeling the cold. Slowly, I eased in, and suddenly the world around me faded. Under the surface, the water was unbelievably clear. I could see the frozen underside of the lake surface glowing from sunlight above. It felt like floating inside a crystal. Quiet, surreal, and strangely calming dot after the immersion. I was taken to a thermal lounge filled with natural hot spring pools. Each pool was carved into the mountain, with warm mist rising into the cold air. Snowflakes landed on my hair and melted instantly. I leaned back against the rock and let the warmth soak through my bones. Luxury wasn't just comfort, it was contrast. The mix of freezing air and hot spring water created a sensation unlike anything I'd felt before. On my final day, the resort surprised me with a personal winter adventure vehicle, a silent electric snow cruiser designed to glide across snow without sound. I drove across frozen valleys, through pine forests, and up slopes where normal vehicles couldn't reach. At the top of the ridge, the world stretched endlessly, mountains layered on mountains, clouds hugging their sides and sunlight turning the snow golden. I turned off the engine and let the silence settle. I didn't think I could be impressed anymore, but winter had more to offer. Before leaving, the resort gifted me a small handcrafted snow globe. Inside was a tiny model of the mountain, the glass dome, and the swirling northern lights. On the bottom, a message was engraved: "Luxury isn't a place. It's a feeling." As I rode back down the mountain, watching the resort fade into the distance, I realized how true that was. Luxury winter travel wasn't just about heated floors, gourmet meals, or breathtaking views, though those were incredible. It was about connection, about feeling something deeper, about rediscovering wonder in a world that often forgets to slow down. This trip didn't just raise the standards of luxury travel, it completely redefined them. Because once you felt snow sparkle under quiet skies, floated above valleys, eaten dinner under the northern lights, and soaked in mountain springs, while winter wraps around you like a blanket, there's no going back. Luxury winter travel has truly hit a new level. And trust me, this is just the beginning.